there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history that's happening today, a lot of history. And before I dive deep into our program and take you to the journey, how we got over here, so I want to celebrate and take the time, knowing that the month of February is Black History Month, that for us to come together as, and whatever the name is, African Immigrant and African to come together, this is history. Give yourself a round of applause because we are all here now celebrating this month together. Another thing that's history is we have our own Amlaku that just published his book. He has a table over there. So please stop by his table and support him also. Congratulations, Amlaku. We're very happy you are here, and we're going to keep it very brief because we're going to dive deep into the program.
Thank you very much, Papa. You are an inspiration, and you believe in me more than I do in myself. And thank you for calling out. I'm not an out speaker and outgoing person, but he called me to this event, and I didn't ask him, but he asked me to have a table and represent myself here. And this book is a journey of myself traveling from, like, covering the two continents, Africa and America. And I'm not going to say a lot about the book. You'll get it and read it, and you will love it. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Papa.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Congratulations. Now, look, if you just walk in to the first African Leadership Group event, we welcome you. And I always say this, we don't believe in divorce. When you walk in, you're part of the family forever, and that's it. Now, I won't be able to spend a lot of time telling you what the African Leadership Group is about. You can read more about the website, but I believe most of you are familiar with the work of the African Leadership Group. But we are here this evening for a very, very specific project called Breaking Barriers and Building Bridges Between the African American and the African Immigrant. Now, I got to tell you that this project started since 2017. So it did not start just now, it started many years ago. Now, it started because I was very, very confused when I just got here to Colorado in 1998 as an African immigrant. As I was filling out application to apply for a job, doing paperwork, I was always asked to check a box of identity. And the only option that I saw over there was black. And being from Africa, we never had an issue of identification because wherever you go, everybody look like you. Everybody sounds. So we never had an issue of identity. This is when I really start getting confused, right? And when I start working at the bank, and all of a sudden, I see the separation. I see the black people here. I see the white people here. And I was really torn apart, right? Because where we came from, and I said this morning, we were never oppressed. We were colonized, but never oppressed. The colonial wanted us to assimilate. They wanted us to speak like French like them, to dress like them. So we never have an issue of identity. It dawned to me now even more, and like I said this, we got to check our ego out and leave it outside. And I remember before I came to America, everything that was showing me on TV, and I was clearly told, stay away from the black people. That's what I was told. The representation was, and what they were showing me, yes, it's gangster affiliation, violence affiliation. So I came here with that preconceived idea of really being careful and staying away. Until I walk into black people that love me, that brothers and sisters that care about me, that show me the way, that mentor me, that transform my life, period. And I knew that I was not the only African that had those preconceptions. It was clear to me. And I said, we got to do something about it. We have to do something about it. Because the more I was looking at it and seeing it, there's always event in the African community that there's no black people. There's always event in the black community where there's no African. We were isolated, separated, divided for whatever reason, and we embrace it and we accept it. And I said, no, we can do better. We can do better, right? So I start really integrating myself into the black community, having friends, and understanding really what is generational oppression. Because I never knew what it was. Because you got to understand, in Africa, they don't teach us black history. Right. We know about the French colonial, but we don't know about Martin Luther King. We don't know all those black heroes that fought for generations. We don't know. So we came here thinking everything started with Michael Jackson, because that's what they show us on TV, with the movie that they show us on TV. We came thinking like that's where everything started. Now, in 2000, and a lot of conversation, the first gathering that we had was in 2017 at the Denver Foundation building. And this is the first time we brought the two communities and conversations start evolving. And later on, we started Leadership Africa. And one of the projects in Leadership Africa was this. And we start conducting survey. So we went to Juneteenth, Black Art Festival with the partnership of Dana, to the NAACP, the Aura, and we conducted a lot of survey. Some of the questions we asked in this survey was, how do you identify yourself? And there's few options. The option is Black, African American, African immigrant, and others. So the first thing that really hit me hard, when I gave this survey to my own kids, immediately they identify themselves as Black. And I identify as African immigrant. So we went to the Black Art Festival. We gave the survey to some Jamaicans, some people from the island. They were offended because we did not put Caribbean African in the survey. They were totally offended. So I said, okay. And the second question we asked was, where did you learn what you know about either community? So it was TV, it was newspaper. So there was nothing that was telling us there was a gathering where people get authentic information about each other, right? And the last question we ask is, what are your wishes for these communities? And unanimously, everybody say, to come together. To come together. Okay, so we gathered those information, and now the big question was how? So we call on another gathering, and again, with the help of EFLI, that's always facilitating, because we know gathering like this easily can go the sad way if you don't have people saying the right thing or conducting the conversation. So we are grateful for your expertise and your leadership. And now, this third gathering, it was more like, how do we do that? How? So there's a lot of ideas that evolved from it. And now, those of you that join Leadership Africa, half of the class is African American, half of the class is African immigrant. That's another conversation, another day. But we have people here from both communities that you will hear from them that attended the program. And now, as an organization, because we are very inclusive, and I said this morning, as African immigrant, we are what we are today in this country thanks to the Black community. Bottom line, we are standing on the giant soldiers that really paved the way for us. If I am here, standing here speaking, it's because of all the hard work and the fight that was done by generation before us. So we are grateful for everything that's been done. And now, one thing also that's clear to us, we cannot become anything in this country without the Black community either. So the time of isolation, of pointing fingers at each other, it has to be over. It has to be over. And guess what? Nobody will do it for us, but by ourselves. Okay? So now, I kind of told you where we've been, what we've done. So you might be attending event like this for the first time, but I guarantee you, if you look at the room, it's evenly divided. And if we had time to give the mic to everybody to say something, you will hear amazing story. To the point now, every year, I take a delegation of Black people to Africa. Now, we started with Senegal because that's where I'm from, because that's the country that I'm from. And this morning, Bianca came to me this afternoon and said, I'm not eating jollof rice. I need chebujan from Senegal. Because that's how they really embrace the culture. The time and the moment we spent over there, unbelievable. They came to my house, they met my mom. I mean, it's unbelievable. And what we would like to ask as African immigrants, please take us to those plantations in the south of, wherever, take us. We want to see those things because we don't know what it feels like. As much we are taking you to Africa, we are asking you and begging you, please organize something for us to go visit this plantation, to walk on the steps that our great-great-grandparents walked, and we do that together. So that's something, Brother Omar, that we really have to work on. Now, everybody here in this room get a personal invitation. And now, as much we're going to be talking about African American, African immigrant, we have allies, right? And you know, within the African Leadership Group, we are very, very inclusive. So you better not look at Union and tell her she's not part of the African Leadership Group. As a Latina, but she claimed that identity.
I have a family now.
You see,
Right.
she has a family.
That's right.
So, and you will get to hear from each other and learn. So it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you're from. You are part of this family, and we value your input. Just keep that in mind. So this is not a place where anybody will say, I'm going to hold back because I look different, because I cannot. Please, we welcome your ideas and your input. You walk in, you're part of the family. Now, there's a lot of things that we're going to have to go over on a short period of time. I think we ask all of you, if you haven't done so, to look at that world map where you can pin your origin. There's a reason behind it. So if you haven't done it, just grab a pin to do that. Now, I have people that are way smarter than me in this room, and that's going to take you to the next step of this conversation and how we're going to do that. And there's this amazing idea that we would like to present to you and need your input as we're going to work onto this. Now, there's a lot of call to action that's going to happen, but this is history, and you are part of history being here. So this is what I would like to do next. Now, as you know, we have the Nigerian food. I want to give a shout out to the Eritrean coffee. Where is Zeresgi and people from Eritrea? Thank you for being here. And you will see that every single African country is represented here because that's what the African Leadership Group is here for. Now, we have a lot of great organization in the room, and we'll get to hear from you. So I cannot name every single one of you, but as we go through this exercise and conversation, we'll get to hear from you. Proudly represent your organization, your community, because the goal is to bring everybody together. So this is what I would like to do next. So I don't know if he's better looking than me or no, but I know he's smarter than me. So I would like to call Efli, my brother here. So we are so grateful for your friendship, your leadership. So yes, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if you're better looking, but I know you're smarter.
Wow. It's not a competition.
Appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. All right, folks. As Papa said, my name's Efli Brooks. I have the opportunity to facilitate this conversation. I want to cover a couple of things really quickly. I teach at DU, and I have a consulting company and teach professionals a lot of things. One of those things is how to facilitate anything. You should always have a purpose that everyone knows. Why do we get together? This overall purpose is to unify African immigrants and African Americans. And then what are we going to walk away with, both us and you? Desired outcomes. So we're going to walk away, you're going to walk away with more knowledge of what ALG does and has done, as well as having contributed to the Breaking Barriers and Building Bridges work, since you now know more about it. On that line, that ideas and feedback from the community or community members about this new initiative. So this is based on the human-centered design, and that's how we teach how to create projects and programs, human-centered design. Empathy is getting feedback from folks, and it doesn't stop at the beginning, but it's absolutely necessary at the beginning. And then you define the issues you want to put your energy toward. You ideate, you come up with ideas. You're going to hear about one of the ideas that this group, the Breaking Barriers, Building Bridges project team has put together. And then prototype, so that will be an informed prototype or initiative informed by you and others, and then we're going to test it. We're going to start doing the work because there is no leadership, there is no change without actual action and doing something. So you're going to be part of that as well. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to get you started right now. We always believe in connection before content. So you've heard a lot of folks speaking, but we need you to talk to each other. So the first thing I need you to do at your tables with folks, and do you have enough folks? If there, how about if y'all could at least have 4 folks at a table, right? If there are only 2 of you, if you could, yes. Excellent. So all I need you to do is introduce yourself to the other folks at your table using your name and who you are representing. If it's an organization, a community, whatever it is, your name and who you are representing. Go for it.
It's the coach's name.
Engagement when folks are going to work together on anything, and that is informal disclosure. That's the connection part, where you begin talking to each other and hearing each other as fellow human beings and not focusing on the issue itself. So please continue doing that as you share with each other this next part. And to set the tone of that, I want to say, so I was actually training some students at DU yesterday about how to facilitate hot, controversial conversations. That's not what we're going to do here today.
Yes.
That's not. We are building, not deconstructing. We are building, not deconstructing. And so what I want you each to do at your tables and share with each other is this. I need you to start from a place, and this is the place. I support unifying African immigrants and African Americans because. I support unifying African immigrants and African Americans because, and then give your reasons and share them with each other. Go ahead, folks. It don't matter. You sit where you need to sit. Okay. Oh, there's only 3 of y'all. Y'all's conversation is going to be too quick. We need more people. And there's only 3 of them. Okay. There's only 3 of y'all. Y'all should join. Y'all should join them. Your conversation's gonna be too quick. Well, unless you're okay. Okay. Oh, you did? Okay. Yes. I'm gonna move these. what's happening in our society, etc. But anyway, so I hope you appreciated talking to each other and found the treasure, the gems that you can build upon, which is why we want there to be more unity between black folks. Let's just say it out loud. Black folks. So I want to hear from y'all. At least, I'll just point at a table and somebody give me one of the reasons that was compelling or interesting that you heard that someone said, this is why I support unifying African Americans and African immigrants. So, who do we want to start? Right here.
Me. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know how to say it, but this is amazing meeting, you know. What Effie organized and Papa brought is amazing. I mean, I don't want to repeat what they said, but what I would like to say is, just one thing which struck me is what Papa said. We have to get together and introduce ourselves and let us know what your plan is. If you could invite us to go to where we came from, that's very interesting. I like it. And what I would like to say, my name is
They all want it. They all want to go to the plantation.
I don't know how many people know.
That's what he's saying. They all want to go.
In the east coast of Africa, by the Red Sea. It's a very beautiful.
We'll get funded. We'll get
They are
funded.
amazing, they are great, and it's not going to be too long before I invite every one of you. It's getting to be one of the great nations in the world, and I'm going to invite everybody to come and visit the next few years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Someone else, another table. All right, right here.
Love it.
Thank you. I'm going to make it very, very short. In our table, one of the things that we discovered, we had our sister, African American, as well as we have also a sister from Africa. And one of the things that both of them said, which actually we can relate from each other, is the position of the woman in the household and the society. In Africa, we consider that the mother is supreme. And here is the same thing that the African Americans here do consider the position of the wives, as well as that's the same position that the mothers in our group also share.
Okay. Thank you. Another table? Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Wafa Saeed. I'm originally from Sudan. I grew up here in Colorado. Our table talked a lot about the importance of being able to tell our own stories to each other instead of hearing our narratives from other people or having other people tell stories about us to cause division. And one thing we also talked about, is making sure that instead of us wanting to be at tables anymore, we want to own the structures that are building those tables.
Hi everyone, my name is Ola Koi. I'm originally from Nigeria, and I have wonderful people at my table here. And one of the things we were trying to explore around each other is what do we know about each other? Let's put aside the perceptions, the negative perceptions
Two more
about
people
what
in
we
Europe.
get from each
Okay.
other, and let's come down to the truth, the nitty-gritty details. And it was good to know that the African Americans here have actually been to Africa, and they were able to share their experience going home, because that's like home. My
Go.
husband has been to South Senegal, and he has been to Ghana. So, and being able to share those experiences, and I told you, and I said to them, you know what, you're also welcome to come to Nigeria. Let's find out. let's keep it going. But that's one thing we want to find, the experience about each other, that knowledge is power. There's more that unites us than divides us, and there is strength in unity.
Thank you. Couple more folks. Dr. Sampson.
our table basically our discussion relates to what you said. I shared a short story of my grandfather. Well, it's my great-grandfather, but my grandfather shared the story of like how they dealt with resisting against a French colony, which was that he let half of his kids go to the French schools, and the other half he said, I'm not going to let you touch. And this was because they understood that the story that was being shared by the white person who controlled the society was not the one that they lived, right? So growing up in the U.S. as a young African kid who became African American based on how people viewed me, right? I traveled all the way to the South and I saw that our stories have not been told by us, and our children today are suffering from a psychological damage of who they truly are as kings and queens because of who taught them the history, right? And it's just a reminder to go back to our oral history. So this gathering here can be multiplied in the millions that we are in the U.S.
Uzi.
All right. While Uzi gets the...
So one of the things we had talked about at our table was that we have more in common than we have differences when it comes to the African American and the African immigrant. And so that's one of the things where we began to discuss how can we begin to bridge the gap. It starts with our kids. So we need to take stuff into our schools. We hope that that information will be taught correctly, but if not, we can always teach it at home. I know for me, I taught it at home to my girls, to my nieces, and they knew who they were when they went to school. And I think these are some of the things that we can take with us. The other thing was Papa said that we would love to start creating a tour like the Senegal, but let's do it in the U.S. Let's start taking some of the groups to some of the U.S. places, like Tulsa, right? Like Wall Street, right? Some of the places that we know historically have had these roots. And so these are one of the things that we have talked about at this table. Thank you.
All right, we've got one more person right here. Oh, two more people. All right.
Hi. So I'm excited to be here today, and I am late to the party, but I was on time at the same time. So my crew right here is just absolutely amazing. We have my brother here from Israel. We have our brothers here who are Denver born, not Denver born, and then I'm Detroit born and raised. I can take my history all the way back to my great-great-grandmother, who was a free slave at the age of 12, amassed 576 acres of land that's still in our holdings today.
The sound is too loud?
But the point we were absolutely driving.
Oh, it's getting low, yeah.
Is one of the messages my
We're
mother,
trying to stop.
a school teacher, 34 years in education, had. It's not the school's responsibility to teach us about us. It is our responsibility. So if our kids don't know, don't be angry at your public school district. Be angry at the address from which they've come, because they learn what they live.
Okay,
And we have a
just
responsibility
one more.
in that
Yep,
place
and that's
to
it.
make sure they do.
All right,
We
got one more after her, and that's it. That's it.
Don't look like us,
Oh my God.
that we should probably
Okay,
not be
what is she
engaging
doing?
with those that look like us. We should probably
Politicians.
engage with those very people. So when they tell the Christians don't deal with the Muslims, we probably should deal with the Muslims and vice versa. Absolutely excited to be here today, but we have a responsibility to those that look like us, who are younger than us. It's okay to struggle. What we are dealing in right now is almost like a rerun of a bad movie. This ain't new to black folks. What's happening in Washington is not new to black folks. The removal and the reversal of the 14th Amendment or the Civil Rights Act is not new to us. Segregation is not absolutely a bad thing for us. We actually thrived in those spaces. So build that community, cross over those bridges, bring those babies into these places, and let's just do what we do as people that look like us all over the world.
All right, all right. All right, all right. This is the last person, y'all. This is the last person. I'm sorry. Nope. Hold on. That's it. Keep it short.
So my name is Lemuel Cisneros and I'm from Mexico. And something that I want to tell you that I learned here in ALG is that we are one person. We have the same struggles, and sometimes my community, when they see African American or African immigrants, they feel that they don't like them, that they are not like us. And it's the same, and they don't approach each other. And when we realized that 2 years ago, when we are participating in
Breaking barriers.
we realized that it's like we have gone through the same struggles. We need to be friends with each other, and I really recommend you guys, when you see a Latino, go and talk to them. They want to talk to you, but they just feel shy because also English is not their first language. So I just can see the strength that we can have all together. Just let's keep growing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, folks, here is what's going to happen next. And I love that you had a chance to connect. This is really all about creating more chances, supporting each other, etc. And this idea is going to be laid out for you by Jason. Jason's going to let you know what this idea is and how you can contribute, or we will get your ideas, thoughts, etc., based on this core idea.